Hi, everybody. I'd like to talk to you today about three things: gratitude, not giving up, and the incredible power of the love of a mother. First, gratitude. When I was 9 years old, I was in the backyard of our house. This is in Maple Grove, Minnesota. The sun was starting to go down. I was in my pajamas. I had a football in my hand, bare feet. The grass felt cool on my feet. And I started to take in the beauty of the sunset. The clouds were turning pink. And I went in and decided to tell my mom and dad, hey, come on out and look at the beautiful sunset. When I went inside, I realized that they were caught up in a matter of bills like all adults are, and they were under a little bit of stress. And I could tell that it just wasn't exactly the right time to say, come out and look at the pretty clouds. So I went back outside and I just kind of started meditating a little bit. And I don't know how it happened, but I felt through my body and my brain in a way that is really hard to explain. But what I felt was the 15 billion year history of the universe, and a little bit of perspective on how I came to be in that moment at 9 years old in Maple Grove, Minnesota, in my pajamas with my feet in the cool grass. And I came out of that with an unbelievable sense of gratitude. And it's really hard to pass on because it's more of a feeling thing than a thing that's easily explained. But the best way I can explain it is that what I felt was unbelievable amount of time of extreme cold, extreme heat, extreme violence, massive collisions and meteors hitting the earth, and the extinction of the dinosaurs, and before that, massive extinctions that came before that. And all of a sudden, at the end of this 15 billion year process, which included a bunch of wars and violence when human civilization began, was this brief, beautiful bloom of green and flowers and temperate weather, no meteors hitting the planet, no giant volcanoes going out, no mass extinctions in place. And my feelings at the time were that maybe adults like my mom and dad, who are caught up in the everyday battle to pay bills, maybe they kind of lost touch with this feeling of immense gratitude just to be alive and to be able to experience Earth. And what an incredible, unbelievable gift it is just to be alive in this time. And I'm trying to find the right words to pass that experience on to you, but all I can say is that if you meditate in your head, close your eyes, and feel like I did, 15 billion years of cold and harshness and no human love for such a long period, and then all of a sudden, this brief period of bloom and love and a certain amount of kindness around the world, and I think you will get to where I was at that time, a feeling of intense gratitude. I also thought at that time that there's probably going to be a time to pass this on to other people. And for me, that time is now. The two other things I want to talk to you about, one of them has to do with this gentleman here, Walter Eliza Disney. Just about 40 minutes to the north of here on Lyric Avenue, something happened with Walter Eliza Disney that changed life on Earth. Walt and his brother Roy had a small cartoon business. He had struggled to make it a success. He had already gone bankrupt twice, and his animators were basically complaining that they really needed a higher wage. So he went to Mr. Mintz on the East Coast that had the distribution rights for his character, Oswald the Rabbit. And he asked Mr. Mintz to increase the pay for the cartoons. And Mr. Mintz explained, hey, look at your contract. We own that cartoon. And while Walt was taking the train to the East Coast, Mintz sent his operatives to meet with Walt Disney's animators, and he recruited about 3/4 of them to jump ship and work directly for Mintz for slightly higher pay. And Walt got the news that Mintz wasn't going to increase the amount that they paid for each cartoon, and later he got the news that 3/4 or more of his staff defected to work directly for Mintz. So he's heading back on the train, and he gets off in St. Louis for a short break, calls back to his brother. His brother says, the news is worse, Walt. The bank got news of us losing the Oswald account, and they're not going to loan us any more money. We don't have enough money to make payroll or to pay our bills. So Walt got back on that train, and he had a nervous habit to doodle when he was worried and nervous. And he had a second habit that he wouldn't go to sleep until he found a solution or thought of a solution to the problem he was facing. And in that moment, for the first time, he drew a little character that was a mouse. He first called it Mortimer Mouse. Later, his wife Lillian suggested, maybe Mickey would be a better name. He gets back to Burbank, California, pulls his staff together, pulls the loyal ones that didn't defect to Mintz, and with enthusiasm lays out a plan to make a great comeback. They had to continue to work during the day with the defectors to Mintz because they had to finish the Oswald cartoon that they were working on to be able to get a little bit of cash in to continue on. So during the day, they worked with the defector animators, and at night, they met at Walt's home on Lyric Avenue, just outside of Los Angeles, and they worked on the first cartoons, Steamboat Willie and Plane Crazy, for Mickey Mouse. A lot of people would have given up at that moment. A lot of people would have been in despair. A lot of people wouldn't have had the energy to make a third run on it, especially when what you thought were your friends perhaps betrayed you and you had a bad business situation. But Walt didn't do that. Walt found a way to find the energy inside himself and to rally enthusiasm from those around him to continue on. And just think how life on Earth would be different if he would have given up that moment. No Mickey Mouse, no Disney films, no Disney parks. How much joy has been brought to the world because this fellow didn't give up in a moment where many people would have given up. The last thing I want to leave with you has to do with one of my greatest heroes, Thomas Alva Edison, arguably the greatest inventor of all time. I want to tell a story about the power of motherhood tied to Thomas Edison. Now, when Thomas was a young boy, his teacher gave him a note, and he ran home to his mom and said, "Mom, the teacher gave me this note, but he told me not to open it and just to give it straight to you." And he gave the note to his mom, and his mom started to tear up in emotion. And Thomas said, Mom, what is it? What does the note say?" And his mom said, "The note says, Thomas, that you are such a genius and you are so gifted that we feel that we can't teach him properly at school, and it would be better for him to be schooled at home." And Thomas said, "Oh, Mom, okay." And his mom began to teach him at home. Many years later, when his mom passed away, Thomas went to his mom's home to help pack up her belongings, and he happened to come across that very note. He opened that note up, and what it said was, "Dear Mrs. Edison, your child is incorrigible, he's not teachable, he cannot succeed in school, and we cannot have him here anymore. At that time, Thomas teared up, and he realized the power of a mother, the power of having somebody that believes in you and supports you, even when others don't. So never forget how important your mom is. Never forget how important anyone in your life, friends or family, that support you when others may not. So thanks everybody for listening. Remember to have gratitude for just being alive. Remember not to give up like Walt Disney. And remember how important it is to have friends and family that support you. Thanks everybody. Bye.